Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new box office breakdown show here on Max Talks Movies. My name is Max Dinnerberg. Today we're going to break down our first really box office breakdown show of 2023, or the 2023 movie hitting theaters this past weekend in Megan. So we're going to break down this past weekend, which was January 6th to January 8th. We're also going to break down the domestic worldwide of 2022, and Avatar has climbed into some high regards all time, both worldwide and domestic. We're going to break all of that down today on this breakdown show. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. Let's click that subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. If you're new to the channel, I do this show every single week, as well as other movie rankings and movie and TV show reviews daily. So please subscribe, ring the bell. If you're new to the channel, comment down below. What did you see in theaters this past weekend? What are you planning on seeing in theaters this upcoming weekend? What are your overall thoughts on Avatar? Were you one of the people who gave up that this would be pretty much a flop for James Cameron? Or are you like me, we've always said, believe in James Cameron, he'll get the job done? Comment down below, and also like the video, guys. It helps way more than you guys think, so please like that video. I really appreciate it. So let's get into our domestic box office top 5 of this past weekend, which was the first really official box office weekend of 2023. As last weekend, it was just about January 1st. Now it's about January the 6th to the 8th. So obviously, not shockingly, in its fourth weekend, Avatar: The Way of Water is still in first place. Only a 32% drop, a $45.8 million gross for Avatar: The Way of Water domestically. It's now up to $517.6 million here in the United States and Canada. Fantastic numbers. I think a lot of people were hoping, a lot of people were talking about if this film can get to $2 billion, it would need to at least get to that $500 million mark domestically. And it has done that. It's doing so well overseas. Really, $500 million is good. Again, this has not come close to Top Gun Maverick, but great numbers for Avatar: The Way of Water. $500 million here domestically. It's also in a fourth weekend of all time. It's the second best fourth weekend gross of all time, only behind the very first Avatar film. So this is, again, we're going to keep talking about this really the whole show. This has become one of the most bankable IPs now in Hollywood, right up there with Marvel, even maybe beyond it, because we could have two films in the $2 billion club in the same franchise. We'll talk about that in just a bit. A lot more Avatar talk coming here in this video. And number 2 is the first movie of 2023 to hit theaters, and that was Universal's Megan. From Blumhouse, $30.4 million in its opening weekend. I actually think this is a very good opening weekend. Now, it's not as incredible as I think a lot of people were hoping. There's a lot of great social media buzz about this film. The critic scores were really good, but the audience scores have shockingly not been as strong as the critic scores. If you told me a week ago that the audience would kind of be lukewarm about it, but the critics would be going crazy about it, I would tell you you're crazy. But that's where we are. It has like a B cinema score, which is like okay for a horror film. And it's around like an 79% Rotten Tomatoes audience score. So these are not great numbers for Megan. But again, the budget for this movie was only $12 million. So if it just on domestic alone, it already broke even and turning a profit. So that's why you're hearing already, not even through the weekend, that a Megan sequel is already being developed by Blumhouse and James Wan. That's because they made this film very much on the cheap. It got good social buzz, and in one weekend, it's already turning a profit for the studio. So a good way to start the year for 2023 for Universal. But it is going to be interesting to see how much this film drops. There's not a major film coming out for the rest of January, so it should be interesting to see how Megan holds on here the next couple of weeks. But no matter what, it's a win-win for the Universal and Blumhouse and James Wan moving forward. Another Universal film, which is very interesting here, number 3, is Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. It gets $13.5 million in its third weekend, 19% drop, and it's up to $88 million domestically. Now, this is really shocking because on Friday, because this film released on a Wednesday, Universal always does 17 days in theaters, and on that day, it goes to digital for $20 to buy or rent, and then hits Peacock. This film already hit digital on Friday, which is huge. That this film feels like it just hit theater, but because it released on a Wednesday, the 17 days came up on January the 6th. So it is already available on digital, and still it made $13.5 million. Now, Clearly Universal wants to move forward with the Shrek franchise, not just with Puss in Boots, but bringing back Shrek into the thing. This is not a great box office number to restart this franchise up. But let's see. A lot of great audience scores. It was already #1 on iTunes this past weekend. We'll see if it gets enough clicks on Peacock. And maybe the talk of this movie, of people seeing this in their homes, could also clamor for more films in this franchise. But amazing. Even though it hit digital, people still went to see this movie in the theater at 13.5 million. Then we have a big drop off. At #4 is a movie that's hitting wide release this week, but it's been in limited release for the last month. And that is, the last 2 weeks, and that is A Man Called Otto from Tom Hanks. It added 633 theaters. It was around under 10 theaters. It added around 633 theaters. So it had 4.2 million. And it's up to, and that's what it has for its overall domestic run. It was in the thousands. It is very limited, 4 to 10 theaters it was in the first week. But this film is hitting wide release, this over 1,000 theaters this upcoming week. So we'll see if, but A Man Called Otto in just 637 theaters. So it only had 4 theaters it was playing in last week, jumps to 637 this week. It gets into #4. So that's, I think, a good sign for Tom Hanks. This movie's not getting any of the awards talks, and that's why it released earlier limitedly. But we'll see if it grows now next week with no big movies hitting theaters on Friday. And hanging in the top 5 is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, with a 3.5 domestic gross this past weekend, 32% drop, 445.5 in 9 weekends. So now this is the 8th weekend of 9 releases in theaters where Black Panther: Wakanda Forever has been in the top 5. It came out, and then once Christmas around time hit, it jumped right back into the top 5. And it hangs in the top 5 by nearly $1 million over I Want to Dance with Somebody. So Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is at #5. When we look at the domestic 2022, we're not really looking at 2023 yet. We only have technically 2 movies hitting theaters so far, with A Man Called Otto technically and Megan. But Top Gun Maverick is still #1. This is the one to beat, 718 million. Avatar's at 517. So Avatar: The Way of Water is $200 million domestically away from Top Gun Maverick. That does seem quite far away. And it will be interesting to see with Avatar, no really major, I guess, big-ish movie like Megan hitting theaters until the first week of February with A Knock at the Cabin. And because that movie will be the first movie to take away IMAX premium screens from Avatar for the next 4 weeks, Avatar should be holding on to all of its premium screens. So we'll see if Avatar can climb all the way up in the next 4 weeks to that number. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is #3. It's the same as usual. Doctor Strange, Jurassic World, Minions, The Batman, Thor, Sonic, Black Adam, or the top 10 domestic in 2022. Also, we keep talking about Avatar: The Way of Water. It is currently #16 all-time domestic. It's currently it's around $16 million behind Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which it should be passing this past week. So the #10 spot, the spot it's trying to get into the top 10 of domestic all-time, is The Avengers. And The Avengers is sitting, trying to make sure here for you guys to get the official numbers, $623 million. So it needs around $105 million domestic to get into the top 10 all time. The first Avatar film is #4 all time domestic, which is just above Top Gun Maverick with 785 domestic, was the first Avatar film. Again, the record is still 936 from Star Wars: The Force Awakens. When we look at the worldwide box office numbers, sticking with Avatar: The Way of Water, we told you this would happen. It has finally passed Top Gun Maverick at the worldwide box office. Avatar: The Way of Water is at 1.7 billion to Top Gun Maverick's 1.48 billion. And also Jurassic World is also at the billion. But Avatar: The Way of Water is on its way to the $2 billion club. I believe only 5 films are there, and the first Avatar is one of them, and I think the Titanic is on that list as well. So once Avatar: The Way of Water needs 300 million worldwide, once it gets to that point, it will be the 3rd James Cameron movie to get to $2 billion. This is a mega hit, and for all the people who are doubting this franchise, 13 years. The fan reception has really turned on that original film leading into this movie. No one could believe that this film would hit that mark. And here we are, 1.7 billion in just a couple of weekends. I think 4 weekends officially. It's been at least domestically at 4 weekends. So just huge numbers for Avatar: The Way of Water. Top Gun: Maverick 2, Jurassic World 3. Rest of the list is the same. Doctor Strange 4, Minions 5, Black Panther 6, Batman 7, Thor is at number 8. But now we look at the worldwide box office. Top Gun: Maverick is at number 12 worldwide. So it's still, but of Avatar: The Way of Water with its 1.7 billion has now jumped into the top 10 worldwide, kicking off Furious 7. And now Avatar: The Way of Water is all the way up to number 7 worldwide of all time, passing Jurassic World in 2015. With Furious 7 being out of this top 10, it is mostly Disney films. Avatar, Endgame, Avatar, Endgame, Force Awakens, Infinity War, No Way Home, Lion King, and The Avengers. Obviously, Avatar was Fox. You can kind of count that as well. So the only non-Disney Fox film in the top 10 movies all time worldwide is now Universal's Jurassic World. And obviously Universal's Furious 7, it got knocked off of this list. So Avatar: The Way of Water needs around $200 million to jump to number 6, which is where Spider-Man No Way Home was. As I said, $2 billion club is very exclusive. It's Avatar 1, Endgame, then Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and Avengers: Infinity War. So 5 movies ever have gotten to $2 billion. And this will be the second film, and this will be the third one for James Cameron's history. So tons of more stuff to follow. We're going to keep track of the all-time list as Avatar: The Way of Water continues to dominate both the worldwide and the domestic box office. Can it get to 2 billion very quickly? I can't wait to talk about the more statistics. These are the type of videos I love talking about. So 3 new movies are hitting theaters this upcoming week. They're not big movies, but they're definitely releases. A Man Called Otto expands widely for the first time in its release. It'll be its 3rd week in release, but first time over 1,000 theaters. Plane from Gerard Butler and Mike Coulter, that hits theaters on Friday, as well as House Party, the first film of the year from Warner Brothers Discovery. That is what's coming out this upcoming week. So thanks for checking out this video here. Like the video, subscribe, ring the bell. More box office breakdowns to come. Earlier today, I reviewed The Pale Blue Eye from Netflix. On Friday, I already reviewed Megan, which hit theaters this week. I'll leave a video for at the end right here next to my head. Tomorrow, Wednesday, you'll get my review of The Bad Batch episode 3. More reviews are coming. Stay tuned. I'll see you guys then.